I'm going to catch up on the chat. Welcome in, everyone, and happy Thursday. I see we have Steve in the chat. Steve is our moderator. If anyone is new to these live calls, welcome to the lore of this channel. Steve is my plant. He is actually right near me. I have like the screen crop right now that Steve is not in the picture, unfortunately, today. Um, but as far as this call today, so today I'm going over a quick masterclass we're going to start the call with. And after that, I'm going to go into a live listing build. So midway, we're going to do a Q&A. I'm going to check in on everyone, how everyone's doing during our call today. I'm really excited about giving this masterclass. It's like a 10 slide masterclass. It's pretty quick. If anyone wants to kind of dive a little bit deeper into niches, typically a lot of like workshops and trainings like this I do in events, but now I am bringing that more to YouTube. I know not everyone really cares for like a little training, so kind of just made a small one today for anyone who wants to talk about niches and finding niches. I like to say this is my specialty with Etsy and print on demand is finding niches and kind of knowing the buyer psychology behind what drives customers to buy on repeat on Etsy. And that's a little bit of what I teach a lot of the times in my YouTube videos, or I try to thread in and weave in. But welcome in, everyone, by the way. Let me know who you are, where you're from. I see we have Better Barbie from Jacksonville, Florida. We have Marissa from Ontario, Canada. We have Haley. Welcome in, Haley. We have Tony from South Carolina, Nicole from Texas. Cool Killa from Atlanta. I really like that username, by the way. That's a really cool username there. Welcome in Desil from Spain, Gabrielle from New Jersey. Um, so welcome in everyone, and my chat sometimes like updates a little bit late. So if I for some reason answer something late, please just know my chat is like updating kind of slow today. Like I think the last comment I had was 11:21. So um and it's 11:22. So anyways, I digress. So we're going to get straight into this masterclass. So as far as she's in a different chat. Okay, so I see my live isn't in maybe the place it should be right now. I'm seeing okay, so for some reason we did not connect to the correct chat. So I do apologize for anyone who may be confused here. Let me fix this a little bit while we're live. So so I'm just gonna change my for some reason my connections never go through the way they should go through. Okay, so I am just editing this. Live listing build. Okay. I do apologize for the pause. I am changing this. For some reason, I'm not getting comments in the other one. I had a connection error when I was initially going in today, so my apologies in advance. I'm switching over everything now, so hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, okay. Okay, so now I am so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. So for some reason my streaming service is showing the chat from the other link and I'm not getting the chat that's currently on this page. So I opened up a second browser and now I'm just on my YouTube live. So now I'm up to date, guys. Okay, I'm in the chat now. Thank you so much for your patience and dealing with our live here. I appreciate you all. So, welcome in, Pauline. We have Kim. Hi, Kim. And welcome in, Steve, the mod. What I was saying earlier is Steve is our running lore on this channel. Steve is behind me. Um, and basically he is the star of this channel, you know. Welcome in Cynthia from Dallas. We have Click Coastal from West Palm Beach. We have Mark from Delaware, Denise from Fort Lauderdale, Kimmy from Illinois, Gabrielle from New Jersey, Linda from West Virginia, Mia from California, Susan from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, Leon from Monterrey, Mexico, and Chaz from South Carolina. So thanks everyone for joining us live and also just like dealing with the link switch. We keep on having some link issues with my streaming service. It's most likely my user error. I'm going to be completely honest there. So as far as the call today, what we are going to be going over is the art of finding profitable micro niches. And this is a quick masterclass. We'll get into the live listing build in a few moments here. So as far as this listing build goes today, let me double check. Okay. Sorry, we're tech problems today all over. So as far as today's agenda, first 30 minutes, we're going to go over a masterclass on the art of finding profitable profitable niches. We're going to go into micro niches, spoiler alert. And this is my way of no tools needed as far as what I have found is kind of like the brainstorming and buyer psychology behind finding niches to sell in on Etsy outside of using tools. So we're also going to do a live listing build together. I'm going to take a halfway point and answer any questions that you all have as well here in our session. So when it comes to what we are talking about today and what I'm going to be teaching, the identity first framework is essentially finding our buyers and identifying what makes us or what we identify as at the core. It's a 3-tier system that I'm going to be going over today. And then we're also going to be going over the stacking method. I did drop a new resource. If anyone is in my email list, I have the Microniche bundle that I have launched just today. I have a 1,000 plus micro niche encyclopedia, and I have been working on this for the past year. It has been quite an undertaking, but I wanted to share what I have learned through the past 5 years and a concept I've been teaching unintentionally to a lot of my sellers who have really sold on Etsy consistently and hit really profitable niches for their businesses. And it is through these niche finding methods that I'm going over today. So, as far as if you're new here, I know some people might be watching the YouTube live and you may have been suggested this, and perhaps you have no idea who I am, where I'm from, what I'm doing here. Hi, hello. My name is Heather. I have built multiple Etsy shops. I have sold over 500,000 in print on demand sales between my Etsy shops. I've been featured on articles and podcasts. Business Insider, Printify Success Stories are some of those. And what I do online is I teach others how to make a income online, a additional income stream, a side income. I truly believe that print on demand and Etsy is a very viable option still to this year. I have a video coming out soon about is print on demand worth it? The answer is, in my opinion, yes, because I have current clients I've worked with, I have current sellers I am working with to this day that are hitting multiple four figures and five figures a month. And it is possible. Some of those sellers started last year. And every single year that I've been teaching on YouTube, I've been doing workshops and events and master classes like this. There is always a seller who starts and ends up making an income online in the following year. So, you all probably already kind of know that, maybe, perhaps, in joining today and being a part of this YouTube channel. But that's what I like to say on these lives and just be authentic and real with you all. That I think there's a lot of naysayers out there who are like, oh, you can't do that online, or oh, that's not possible anymore in 2026. And it definitely is. I actively sell on Etsy to this day. My shop is hidden publicly, and one of the reasons why is because copycat culture on Etsy. I shared my shop a while back, and that kind of closed down my initial income stream with print on demand. But I have rebuilt a new one. I don't share it on this channel. I know that's a common question I get on this channel. That is a reason why during a lot of these live calls and whatnot, I try not to share like other people's statistics on YouTube, either because I want to protect people. It does happen though on chance, and it is all public in a way. So that is something that does happen with talking about Etsy and YouTube and all of that. But so, anyways, I digress. The rookie mistake I wanted to talk about today that a lot of new sellers going into Etsy, print on demand, e-commerce, this is whole across the pool of places to sell online. If you sell on Shopify, Teespring, Redbubble, eBay, Etsy, these are the rookie mistakes that I see a lot, which is a lot of sellers I see go into print on demand, they see t-shirts and they might be like, I'm going to make a cute t-shirt, right? And I full-heartedly love that. I love the energy that goes into that. And I love, like, that's how I started. I was like, oh my gosh, I can create t-shirts online. I'm going to create cute t-shirts and like inspirational quotes that make people happy. And I'm going to try to sell mugs with funny phrases or so on and so forth, right? Now, the problem is people are starting with the product. They're starting with what they think is going to sell. But the common way to find what's going to sell for you is actually not starting with the product. It's starting with the niche and the buyer behind the product and who's going to buy that product. And instead of coming at a place of product first, we need to be coming at a place of our target audience first, which is essentially that niche in a way. Niche, I feel like, is a very generalized concept for the deep dive into what actually makes a niche, which is the buyer and the customer behind that niche and the recipient of that niche, right? And that area that we're trying to go into. So the fix to this rookie mistake is start with who, not what. And you can get into what later, but you need to start with who first. We can't just dive in and be like, okay, I'm going to create like a t-shirt and I have no idea who I'm creating for. But sometimes this is what happens in print on demand is we focus so much so on the product, but is there market need for that product? And the answer usually lies in the niche first. If you know the niche, if you know you're trying to create products for a mom, maybe buyers aren't really shopping for t-shirts, right? Like one issue I have in buying my mom a gift is, or like anyone I know a gift is, I don't even know what their t-shirt size is. Like, and that's hard for me to buy for someone. And I feel bad asking, right? Like it's an awkward question, like, hey, what's your t-shirt size? And not that it's always awkward, like some people don't mind, but a lot of the times, maybe a mug or a candle might be a better gift or something that's more popular in demand in the mom gift niche, right? Because you don't have to ask for a t-shirt size and it's going to sell a little bit more than t-shirts actually. So that's something to think about when we're talking about who, not what. And we're starting with who, we're going to what next, right? So, the identity first framework I want to teach today, which is there are layers to niches. It's not just a niche, there's a lot that goes into it. It's just like us as people. We are not just a coworker, we are not just a friend, we are not just a mother, we are not just a daughter. You are not just a, maybe you're a teacher. You're not just a teacher, right? There's multi faceted parts to every single human that exists. And that is where identity first framework comes into play, which is we start with a core niche, we go to a category, and then we go to a micro niche. And core niche is that broad evergreen identity market. Category is identifying the buyer segment underneath a core niche, and micro niche is us getting super hyper specific, and that's what's going to help convert the target audience and buyer. And these are the things that basically, instead of everyone who likes dogs, we're looking for the exact type of dog person who instantly feels seen and understood. I want my customers to feel seen and understood by the product I'm creating. And although I want to go into t-shirts, maybe a dog lover doesn't want a t-shirt. Maybe they want a pet bandana or a hoodie for their dog. And I know that sounds funny, but also, did anyone get an email from Printify yesterday on the capybara or Bara? I always mispronounce that word. Please let me know. How do you pronounce that in our chat? Let me know. I need to know these things. But basically, there was a hoodie comment and it was so adorable. So as far that I can't get over that. Anyways, I digress. So we want our buyer to be seen and heard, right? In a world of AI, in a world of automation, one thing that we're losing out on is human connection. Yes, AI could create your whole product for you, your whole listing. Yes, it can, right? But the thing is, AI is not necessarily based in human wisdom and experience at the end of the day. And what humans can connect to the most is other humans, right? We don't connect to robots. We don't connect to AI. We don't connect to the internet necessarily. Yes, our brains are now optimized for our phone screens and our devices, but at the end of the day, people are craving human connection and we need to start identity first. So, with that being said, I will continue on, which is the question we want to answer and questions we want to answer is who is the market? What are they looking for? And why would they purchase, right? So, who first, what second, why? And that leads into what is a core niche? So I just want to break these down to kind of give some examples of what these are. So definition of a core niche is it's a evergreen identity market. So examples of this is wedding party, animal lover, birthday, occupations, travel, health and wellness, fitness, right? Those are core niches. And that's what we see on Etsy typically, right? When you log into Etsy, it's like gifts for mom, there's wedding party, maybe wedding season types of listings on Etsy. And these are all identity driven, not trend driven. So there's going to be trends that come in and out, but you're not going to see a core niche that just fades away completely. So wedding, there's going to be weddings every single year on Etsy. Occupations, there is going to be occupation every single year on Etsy. Travel, people are always traveling, right? Animal lover, there's always a pet lover out there. Birthdays, there's a new birthday every single day, every single hour, every single minute, right? So we want to find those core niches first. That's going to be layer one of niches. And this is going to set up the foundations for long term growth on Etsy. Now, I have created and I've identified about 17 core niches. I will say, I feel like this list is going to grow someday. Okay. But the 17 core niches that I have evaluated and studied and researched into, these are five of them. And these are not ranked by how profitable they are on Etsy, by the way. These are just like a few of them that I wanted to share today. So, wedding party, again, kind of already went over that. Occupations, professions, right? Animal lover, so people who like animals, whether those are exotic pets, maybe those are capybaras or capybaras. Is it capybara or capybara? I feel like I don't know if anyone answered in the comment section. If capybara, I see Haley put. Thank you. Thank you, Cappy. I'm going to stop pronouncing that before I offend someone who is a lover and is offended by me mispronouncing that 10 times. So, hobbyists. So, hobbyists are a big one as well. Crocheting, knitting, runners, right? These are all hobbies, book reading, parenting stages. People identify as a mom, as a dad, as a grandma, as a grandpa. There's so many parenting stages too. So you have newborn, mom of a newborn, you have mom of twins, you have mom of a 1 year old, a toddler, the terrible twos, right? So there are so many core niches that are going to sell all year round on Etsy. And I do have a micro niche blueprint. Again, this is something that I have as a resource I'm going to offer today if you want to explore all 17. So, as far as with just kind of going forward, a example of micro niches and occupations. So we have the core niche being occupations, and I have identified over 398 micro niches within occupations. I will say that list is going to grow at some point again, because there's always new occupations growing, professions grow, professions kind of multiply in a way as time goes on with again, the boom of AI we're seeing, right? There's AI jobs, there's different jobs that come with that. So with occupations, I identify this as a high monetization category. And this is the largest core niche out of all of the core niches I have on my core niche list. Professional identity is very huge on the internet, I would say, and just in normal life. I find that one thing is, if you go to college, one thing to note is, okay, you went to college for 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, what have you. When you graduate, typically you're really proud of that. There's a lot of pride that comes with graduating. And another thing that pride comes with is retiring. You stuck to that career for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Maybe 50 is a little bit of a reach, but as far as all of these niches, there's things people identify with in occupations that makes it such a strong core niche on Etsy. And with that, there are so many micro niches underneath it because we're not only looking at people graduating, we're looking at people in their first year of their work, maybe coworker gifts, maybe retirement, right? Retirement parties, maybe going away, coworker leaving, right? Those are all very micro niche down. Night shift, NICU nurse. So not only are we looking at just like the niche and category maybe of the medical field, we're going even deeper and we're looking at NICU nurses. So if anyone's maybe NICU, you might not know what the acronym stands for. That's neonatal intensive care unit. And that is a very specific niche. But I know a lot of, like, I've had friends in NICU. I have spoken to a lot of nurses. For anyone who doesn't know, I come from the medical field. So I have personally been in the NICU area or department in the hospital. And it is an incredible job what NICU nurses do. And that is something to be very proud of. That's an incredible, you're doing incredible work every single day. And if you're a NICU nurse, you're going to identify as that. You're going to be proud of that. And I hope any NICU nurse watching is proud of that because that's a very, very difficult job. And basically, if we think about NICU nurses, they're working 24/7, right? There's night shift NICU nurses. There's morning shift. There might be float shift NICU nurses. There's on call NICU nurses. So this is, again, we're targeting a specific micro niche. And if you think about the types of products you can create for a NICU nurse, what can a NICU nurse use every day? Typically, that might be a travel mug because they're always on the go, right? What if they have a bag that they can take and put all of their items in for work? Because again, they're going to work. That's their daily life. They might be meal prepping, right? For a long shift, a 12-hour shift, maybe longer than that. Those are things that we can create for that NICU nurse in specific. So, first teacher survival mode. Again, first teacher, their first year on the job, they might be like, holy cow, there is so much to do. There are so many new things and new school plans they have to make, new content they have to make. It's hard for a first year teacher to go into that career path. And the first year is difficult. It's hard because you're going over lessons that you may have never taught before. And with that, we can again target that micronation occupations. Pipe welder retiree. So pipe welders, they work super, super hard. And all of these occupations, really hard working areas and occupations and professions for retiring in these fields, this is a big moment for them. These are milestone events that, again, we can go into as Etsy sellers. And maybe a retiree, 40 years of grit, that could be a t-shirt. Given, you know, you have the sizing issue I talked about earlier about that awkward, like, oh, what size are you? But then we can look at maybe signs for a retirement party, right? We can create signs in Printify. There are poster boards we can create for maybe a retirement party. Maybe something that's punny or funny for the party, or even the tapestries. We can sell tapestries that you can hang behind a wall, maybe at a retirement party that they're hosting for a coworker that's leaving, right? So there's party items you can get for retiree events, let's say. So there's a lot that goes into these micro niches that we're kind of diving deeper into. Now, there's one way to stack that we can do with this too. So with Proud NICU Nurse, now we've hit a very, very specific micro niche. This sells all year round because there's always going to be new NICU nurses. There's going to be retiring ones, right? New graduates who are just joining the field. And Some holidays we can think of: Christmas, maybe, as far as, okay, they're a nurse, they're proud of being a nurse. We can include colors on a design that we already created. Maybe a manager of a nursing department is looking to buy bulk gifts for their nurses in and for Christmas, maybe, or maybe even Nurse Appreciation Week. I've had that in the past in my own shop. I've done custom bulk products for nursing departments. So these are like bulk buyer areas too, on top of that. But Nurse Appreciation Week, it's not necessarily like a holiday, but it is at the same time. Not like our traditional holiday, I would say, like Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? It's more of a seasonal area on Etsy, but this is a great opportunity right now to go into, right? Because nurse appreciation, you might get bulk buyers during this season. You might also get a lot of nurses maybe shopping for them, maybe their family shopping for them to say, hey, I appreciate you and your work that you do in the medical field. So basically, it's the same buyer identity, but we're just scaling out and we're stacking into seasonal niches too, right? So let's dive into categories and kind of the difference between a category and a core niche. So again, this is second layer. Second layer is going into the different areas. So if we're talking occupations, that's divided into, okay, there's healthcare as a category underneath the core niche of occupations. There's education, there's trades and labor, kind of like the pipe welder we were talking about. Corporate, so HR, sales, project managers, administration work. Creative professionals, right? So designers, photographers, writers. These are the categories that we can go into and tap into. So then going into the third layer, diving really deep, micro niches. What's nice about these is they're highly specific, they're conversion focused, and we are essentially stacking the identity, preferences, and context all together. And we're able to truly know our customer audience and target audience, right? That we're selling to. So, what's really nice about personalization for micro niches is I have done this in my time, is I haven't had to do the standard personalization, such as putting a name on a sweatshirt. I've honestly just put in like NICU nurse, right, as a design. And what's nice about that is it's personalized to the micro niche that you can sell as is designs. And I've had this question before in the past years I've been on YouTube, is like, okay, Heather, you sold 90% of your sales with just sold as is designs. How? My answer is honestly micro niches because I've designed and it's so relatable to the micro niche that it feels personalized without me having to do the manual part of personalization, which a lot of it's automated now, given I know there is Printify personalization, that I can speak, personalization hub that automates that all. But going on with micro niches, this is kind of like obvious gifts. It's like, oh, that's relatable. Obviously, like I'm thinking about my friend who really likes coffee and they're a nurse and they run to work every day, like last minute, and they're like turning on their Keurig and making their coffee and running out the door. Getting them an insulated coffee tumbler is like the perfect gift. It's an obvious gift to give them, right? Natural bundles. So this is something that you can kind of bundle into other things. As far as what Etsy does is they kind of have an upsell method as far as other items you might like on the side of the screen on Etsy. And with that, if you have other listings that might be, let's say, like more of the category niche identity, which is just nurse or healthcare, right? Like healthcare hero or something like that. That might be something that's easy to bundle for someone. They're like, oh, I have a friend who's an ICU nurse and I'm this other maybe sweatshirt that says healthcare hero. That's great to get them as like a bundle. And with that, you can turn on Etsy's bundling, their bundling feature on your shop. So it shows on that right hand side of the screen, hey, you can bundle this and get so and so off. So also this leads to repeat purchases. I found is no one else is selling, or they are selling, but they're not relating to the customer. They're not driving and diving as deep as I am, or as you may be in micro niches, that we know our buyer identity, and we're essentially creating a whole ecosystem in our shop for that buyer identity, that now when you create a new design, that customer is going to want to go back to you because they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel understood. So again, kind of what I already said in the last slide, which is just designs that sell as is. Again, it's instant connection, reduce friction for them to look at a listing and they're like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I'd buy this for my friend, or this reminds me of my friend. And even if it's like a punny quote on a t-shirt or a mug, they might just share the listing with their friend, and then their friend might buy it right away, right? So it's going to cause faster purchases, and it's going to simplify your workflow if you're just doing sold as is designs. So let's bring this all together with the stacking method that I want to teach in this today, which is identity. Again, who? Maybe it's a nurse buying for themselves, right? They see that mug that I just talked about that their friend shared with them, and it's like a punny quote about ICU nurses. And then preferences, what's their style, their humor, their values. So I know a lot of nurses in the, well, actually, this is a better example, which is x-ray techs. So what is their style, humor, values? So when I was in x-ray, I used to be in x-ray school for, again, anyone new to the channel. And one of the styles and consistent humors with x-ray is skeleton and like black and white images and graphics, right? And just like, I don't know, it's kind of like hardcore in a way, like almost like a punk feel with x-ray text, because it's really fun because that's all you're doing, right? All day is you're imaging, and radiographs are black and white, right? So that's like a style and a humor, and it's almost like dark humor in a way. And I only know that because that's the preference of that micro niche, right? And not every micro niche is going to be the same, because if we take that to nursing, nurses are more, I would say, like, one is when nurses are going to work, they want something that might be more professional. Two, because also there is a movement in healthcare where nurses are able to wear more casual t-shirts and clothing approved by their managers, right? So with that, sometimes they want more professional feeling t-shirts. They don't want something that's kind of like, the punk rock feel of x-ray tax that I just explained. But x-ray tax, like I've seen a lot of my fellow friends have t-shirts that have like a skeleton, like rock and roll hand, right? To like look like an x-ray, and some punny quote on it, and that's fine for their department. But when you go to nursing, it's a little bit different, right? So the style, humor, values, it's going to be a little bit different per. Also, nurses, they're working all night every day, and a lot of them are maybe caffeine obsessed because they have to be at staying up, maybe being called in at random hours, maybe working a double shift. These are things we have to consider. Is maybe some are coffee obsessed, maybe some are maybe pop obsessed to keep getting them through their shifts, and maybe they're night owls, right? So we're diving deep into their style, humor, values, context. So what's the occasion, milestone, situation they're going through? So their current situation might just be surviving the night shift. And what could be relatable to that is maybe an insulated mug for someone who loves coffee, and it says NICU night shift survivor on it, maybe. Or NICU night shift night owl something like that. It's a phrase on a mug or insulated mug, right? Those are things that we can tap into. Maybe it's a new grad that started in NICU and they're really proud of that. They're really excited to join that, right? And they want to reveal their occupation they just accepted. Again, that could be a mug, like NICU nurse. It could just be as simple as that on a mug. Or NICU nurse grad, EST 2026. So again, I think I drilled this down a little bit too far now, but hopefully that gives context to how to stack. We want to stack. And again, this is going to personalize to each and every micro niche. So at this stage, you might be like, okay, Heather, this is all great, but there's 1,000 plus micro niches you just spoke about. And I feel overwhelmed. Which one's for me? Which so one thing is you can always use Etsy. You can always research and really try to find these niches. What I will say is one, Etsy history, and it's like basically it's historic data pulls when you're trying to do your own research. I find it's really hard to find micro niches personally. And I have been selling micro niches for pretty much the entire time of me selling on Etsy, that I have experience in this. I have led a lot of other sellers to selling in micro niches. Yes, you can ask AI to create you all the micro niches in the world, but the thing is, they're not experience backed. They're not profit backed, I would say. A lot of the times, it's not through actual experimentation. So I do have a Microniche encyclopedia in a bundle if you are interested in diving deeper in learning the 17 core niches. And I have a 24-page PDF going over 17 core niches and a 1,000 plus Microniche encyclopedia. It is 100 pages, guys. I've been working on this for months. And honestly, it's been a whole year that I've had this concept. I've been like writing in different like areas and like in my notes apps of like all the micro niches I keep thinking about. So this has taken me a long time to create. I know in the world of AI, it's like, okay, who's creating with AI or not, given a lot of resources nowadays, there is use and assistance of AI, but to note, I have fed this all of what I know in micro niches. And basically, if you're looking for more insights, if you're looking for more information on that, you can use these resources. Now, I do have these sold individually. We have a discount for that too, if you just want to buy one or the other. I also have a micro niche finder tool. And this is an interactive tool that provides you a personalized 3-page report. So if you have all these resources and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so overwhelmed, what makes sense for me? I have created this. I will say it. This was a AI assisted project. I can't speak. But the information that it is based off of is the Microniche Encyclopedia and Microniche Blueprints and my core teaching and principles. So just know with this Finder Niche tool, if you're looking to basically narrow down what makes sense for you and your shop right now, that's going to help a lot. And it's going to teach you some things. It's going to give product recommendations of maybe products you've never thought of before. So I hope that that helps. Just so you know, we have this deal for launch. It is only running until tomorrow at midnight Eastern time. So if you want to grab this at half off, grab it now. If you want to wait maybe a day, again, feel free to wait a day if you would like, and decide tomorrow. But I usually do this for any beta launch or new product I put out. Is usually I have an early purchase pricing discount. So if anyone has seen in the past in my email or other places, I know I have gotten emails in the past like, hey, I saw you had this discount. Can I get that later on? These are only for launch times. So just to put that out there, if you do want this, it's going to be the best deal right now. But you don't necessarily, it's totally up to you if you think this is right for you or not at this time. The other thing that I wanted to announce is I have a print-on-demand architect program coming out in April. So if maybe micro niches is not what you need to dive into right now, maybe you're at the stage of like, okay, I need something personalized to me. I need like help in finding niches and maybe the products to go into and designing. I have an interactive workshop. This is going to be intensive, it's deep diving. And by the end of this 7-day workshop, which we go live 3 times, we have days in between off because I do give homework for you to finish so that you have that roadmap completed by the end. And again, this is personalized roadmaps that you will build alongside me during a 3-day workshop. So it's 3 focus days. If you are interested in this, we're going to post the link to the waitlist here as well. And I am offering a early bird deal. So just so you know, if you are looking for maybe more hands-on help in your shop, typically with these types of workshops and events, I offer some type of add-on like a shop audit or maybe like typically like the shop audit and personalized roadmap I go over with you in that shop audit that's pre-recorded. So I usually only can take so many people on for that at a time or offer so many of those packages. So if you are looking for something like that, you will want to join that wait list because those go out first. And again, it's limited spots. Outside of that, for this, I'm going to take a quick water break and coffee break. And I'm going to see what questions you may have and answer anything that I can here for our call. So let's see. I am just checking to see. So the live calls are going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. They will be recorded. I will say that, of course, I would recommend if you can make it live, that would be great, but understandable if you can only do the recorded sessions. That's why the live calls are April 21st, the 23rd, and 28th. There's a day in between each, or a day to 2 days to a weekend between each, because you have time to finish homework. Anyone who needs to watch the replay can watch the replay, but it is a system that we go by. So start with niche, go to product development, and then we go to design. And that is all done in the course of 1 week, but there's a day in between buffer for the reason because everyone's going to need time to maybe work on the homework. And I will have interactive tools that's going to help people with that too. So April 21st, 23rd, and 28th are the live workshop days at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So even I know I've had sellers in the past who have done their lunch breaks. I know that's tough to do like a lunch break with this, or like people who work. I know that there's a lot of people are being sent back to the office, so to speak. But I've had a lot of sellers in the past that just take their lunch break. The workshops are going to be about 2.5 to 3 hours in length. So they are long, I will say. I will note here. Again, they will be recorded if you really want to do this workshop program and if you're interested in that. So just to note that. Um, so anywho's, I'll take a quick water break and I'll look at the other. So I see that there's a question, is the niche bundle helpful for digital products? So the niche bundle, it is based in print on demand products. I will say I have been kind of shifting a little bit more to digital because I have had sellers I've worked with recently who I have been recommending more digital products such as digital files for printables. Um, but I would say it's not necessarily digital focused. So so Happy Beppy asks, will the architecture program help with Etsy shop setup? So it is not designed for Etsy shop setup. I will say it's more of like a niche. It's kind of like a niche product and design incubator, which is just finding the exact niches and products and design styles for your business and building the architecture and frameworks behind that. And I know that kind of sounds confusing, but that goes into the personalized roadmap that is developed at the end based on the 3 days of the workshop. So, what I recommend is the Etsy and Print on Demand crash course or taking my free module of my Print on Demand Academy because Print on Demand Academy, I offer a free module with that. And that is what is basically the frameworks and how to set up. So I would recommend that first. I typically recommend doing my free programs first to see if print on demand is right for you before investing. I know a lot of people who have just taken the free courses and content, and until they start to see profit coming back, then they've invested into my other resources too. That's at least what I've seen as far as people kind of like, okay, now I see profit coming back. I see this as a viable option and income stream, but I want to scale. That's when people really invest, I would say. And that's what I recommend to people. I don't believe that, a course isn't for everyone. Some people are fine with just YouTube. Some people are not just fine with YouTube. I know it can overwhelm people's systems because it is a lot. There's a lot of trends. There's a lot of overwhelm. There's a lot of do this, do that. Who do you listen to? And that's why I do have the course for that reason, just if people need that help. Let me I am going to see if I can find the link for the sign up on the free module because I would recommend that first. Do, 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 do. So I'm going to paste that in the chat. So if you're looking to join the free module, you can join that. Let me make sure this is the right link though first. Okay. I am going to post that in our chat here. So if you would like to join that free module, so that's the free module I posted in the chat. So that is essentially the first. So I have it broken up into freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. In the Print on Demand Academy, it is the core structure and foundations that I recommend for a lot of new Etsy sellers. What's really nice about the Print on Demand Academy, and one of the main reasons I recommend it, is because if you do the paid version of it, it is live. It's a live community. So we are on school now. And on school, I do a quarterly trend report. Today, I actually conducted that before this YouTube live session. So you get a quarterly trend report if you are interested in that, just to like learn what the current trends are in the market. Again, there's certain things I don't share on my YouTube channel. One is I have seen a lot of things saturate markets when I end up posting it on YouTube, which I like to share everything as free as I can. But there are things that, like I try to keep a little bit toned down for those who invest in the resources too. So in there, I have over 100 trainings for a new seller. So if you haven't started yet, that's going to be the best, like basic beginner place to go. And then also we have a live community within there that I'm in and also my team is in. So Haley, who's been in our chat today, she is a prior Print on Demand Academy student and seller. And she has done wonders in her business, which has been really cool to see. Shout out to Haley and all of your hard work that you've put in. But a lot of the other people on my team, I have Sandy, who's a part of our team, who's went through my programs as well. She's a current top 1% Etsy seller. So there we have like a lot of support within there from vetted out and really incredible sellers on Etsy currently. I know that's the thing is like, okay, who do I listen to when I'm looking for help or support? So I answer questions within there, and my team does as well. And then also you get quarterly trend reports. Anytime I do like I add on bonus calls every now and then. So like anything that's on YouTube that might like sometimes we have to take things down on YouTube lives because we show something we shouldn't have, such as another one someone else's Etsy shop. I try to like not like I try to blur out people's Etsy shops. In the case that does happen, I take it off YouTube during a live listing build and I will at least upload it within there. And typically, if you're in my email list, I email the live calls too. So, okay. So I see Michelle asked also when I clicked on the link to purchase the Microniche bundle, it states that you have a code to access the Finder tool for 90 days. So it's a 90-day access that you get in the Finder tool. And one of the reasons why is because since it's a coded software, we are basically like it's like a continuous, it's not a one time, or it is a one time code basically to do the niche finder due to the fact that with coding, it's we get charged per like time it's used. So instead of charging like a monthly fee, we just have a 90-day access code fee that basically is added into the bundle. And then after those 90 days, if you want to use it again, you can go back to our resources and repurchase. I'm looking to maybe do a discount code for people who repurchase though, just because I know it's like maybe you're like, okay, I've changed my strategy 90 days later, then you can go back. But you get access for 90 days for that reason, just instead of doing like a software monthly charge. Basically, we're just doing one time access codes with that. So I hope that makes sense. Um, so as far as going into our live listing build, I wish I had the right link for so we are going to take a live vote on our listing build today. The live vote is going to be, so we are going to go into the we're going to go into one of the topics we talked about today, which is ICU nurses. So, with ICU nursing, I would like to take a vote in our chat on what product we will do. And the most voted product that we see, given I know this is going to be rapid fire people answering, but will we do so? First product, like we talked about, so insulated tumbler, insulated coffee mug with Printify is going to be number one. And then number two is going to be a bag, like we spoke about, some sort of tote bag. I might look on, we might have to look on Printify's catalog to see their other tote bags, but tote bag is two, and three, we're going to make whatever you all have. So I am going to set a timer for the next 2 minutes while I drink my water and coffee, and you all just type what you would like to see today in our live listing build, and we will get to building. And I'm gonna get my areas ready here. As you all are commenting. Okay. So as we are getting this going, I am going to get my tabs ready. I'm going to pull up Printify. We're going to go over some products here. And I am going to pull up Kittle. So Kittle has, honestly, I've been mind blown lately with Kittle's updates. I'm going to show you guys some things live today that you're probably going to be like, oh my goodness, I did not know that was even a thing on Kittle. I have to do a Kittle, complete like Kittle, like 10 things to do in Kittle type of video, because I think there's just a lot. Like, I've shown some people and they're just like, I had no idea that was a thing on Kittle. And so I'm going to show you guys some things that you may not know exist within it. Let me make sure I'm logged into everything here. Oopsies. Okay, the timer went off, and let's see. Steve, can you tell me if you counted on how many or who is the winner for this chat? Or I'll count as I go here. You can make a poll in YouTube. Oh, I could have done that during this. Guys, I'm sorry. I was looking on my streaming app for that and I couldn't find it. So maybe, okay. If you all can bear with me here. Because I am still logging in. I'm going to put mug. I'll put insulated mug. We're going to put tote bag. Steve said, Steve was doing plant things. Oh, Steve. Okay. Sorry. I thank you all for commenting. I am going to I put in the poll on our chat. So let me know what we're creating to get today together, and we will get to work here. So we have a 50-50 split on this. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna set a 1 minute timer on this. So put in your votes and we will see. We have 36 more seconds. Okay. The timer went off. So I am going to end our poll and let's see. Oh, I have so many windows kind of going on right now, by the way, on the back end here. Let me just get my life together. So I'm ending poll. And oh my goodness, 49% insulated mug. Literally by 1% out of 31 votes, 1%. That is incredible. Um, okay, so we are doing insulated mug. So I'm going to pull up, we're going to look at insulated mug. So this is a product I really, really enjoy on Printify, which is District's Photos insulated mug. I personally like it because it's really just nice the way it's made. But there is other travel mugs, so we could do the Polar Camel Fulfill engine mug. That is an option. The other types of mugs, there is the engravable mugs. So if we wanted to go that route, we could do engravable, which is by Fulfill engine as well. Honestly, this one's a little bit nicer to do, in my opinion. Through selling, what I would recommend, we can create a multivariant mug. I'm not sure how crazy I want to go today since I will say I plan to end at 1 p.m. Eastern time and I'm already going over my time, but that's okay. So what I'm going to start with is I am going to do a colorful design in a trend that I currently am seeing on Etsy that I think would work really, really nicely with an insulated mug. Not necessarily an engraved one, it's not going to look nice on. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to do the one by District Photo for now. We could do, I still don't, I'm not a fan of that one. Yeah, Fulfill Engine has a similar one. So if you were going to do insulated mugs, perhaps the one by Fulfill Engine, if you're going to scale it to engravable mugs, that might be a better solution there. But for this, I personally really like these that are really nice. I would say that the production fees we're looking at 1506. Typically insulated mugs though, I will say their price is around $29.99 is retail value. So, as far as designing goes, when I start designing with these mugs, we have the print area size. And this is something that I've heard in the mug community, which is that having a double sided design is typically the way we want to go. Or we can have a design on one side of the mug. This is for right handed. So typically, a lot of people put the design on this right side here rather than the left. However, that is not fair to our left handed friends. So a lot of sellers have done a double sided. What I like to do, so print area size is 2,550 by 1125. I like to do square and just do like square ratio. So typically, what I do is I like to do a 5,000 by 5,000 pixel design, and then I will make that smaller for the design itself. So when it comes to this type of design, I'm going to do a very basic design, but we're going to use AI today live to make this into a trend that I'm seeing on Etsy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with two headlines and going back to just talking about nurses and maybe like going into ICU nursing, we can tap into the niche. And what I've seen, which is kind of funny, is I've seen like really just like ICU or something like denoting the department rather than just like a phrase. And I know that sounds really funny. We can add a phrase on after though. But what I've seen that sells is honestly just like RN, like ICU nurse of some sort. So I'm going to start with this. Bear with me. I have an idea of what I'm going to do for the design. I feel like the the problem I come across, and I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I struggle with not finding a font right away, and that's my struggle. So let me do. I'm just going to choose like more of a big and bold type of font. So I like this. I like the university. I feel like for some reason that word looks different to me. I don't know why. So my go-to, if you've been watching this channel for a while, is doing some sort of like I typically like to do a bold sans serif based text or just like a blocky type of text, and then I like to do a script font. That's just my personal preference. And so, what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to do something like this, essentially. But what I will fix up here is I'm going to do a block shadow because I like to make a border. And in Kittle, when I do a border, and I know if anyone else has done this, it will like cut off the text. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I do like, I'll do a red border, but oop, that is not what I wanted. So this is what I'm talking about when it kind of, the border goes into the script. So that's one of the reasons why I don't typically do the border and instead I do the block shadow, text shadow. And then to make it look like it's kind of a cutout effect, that's what I like to do personally. Also, I wonder, oh, nurse. That's, what am I doing with my life? So this is essentially kind of the overall like final boss, I would say, style I'm looking to go for. I'm going to make this larger though. So this is not the final design by any means. This is only part one. I know you all might be like, what the heck is Heather doing here? What is she doing? what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the nurse. So bear with me here. What I want to do is I actually want to remix this, and I am going to create an AI image board from this. So one trend we are seeing on Etsy is the patchwork design trend. And it's almost like a quilt patchwork design trend. So what I want to do is I want to make ICU into that patchwork quilt design. So with that, I am going to create a prompt. I will say I am the worst at manually creating prompts. Honestly, I go to like Claude or ChatGPT at times and I have it remake my prompts because I'm not a writer, okay? I'm design. I'm design. I'm a designer. That's the best way to describe. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to put make the letters into a patchwork light blue quilt effect light cream background. So I'm just going to put this. And then Kittl has this enhanced prompt feature that I use a lot because I'm not good at building prompts, let's be honest. So I like what it did. It said using various light blue fabric textures, stitching details set against a light cream background. So we're going to see what it generates here. So I'm going to generate this and we will see. I will say I have had to do this multiple times. So I might do a second artboard just to see if it would create differently. The only problem is I selected too soon. So I'll wait until this one comes out and then we can do a second version with a different AI generator. So in Kittl, there is over 10 AI generation tools for artwork. What I really like about it is oh my gosh, that is actually gorgeous. I mean, we have to delete the background, but like that's really gorgeous. So I'm very shocked by this. Um, Usually I can copy what I just put as the prompt, but for some reason I'm not finding that today. I wonder if I duplicate it. Nope. So, okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do for the second one is I'm going to show just how this would look like with, I'll do Nano Banana Pro. It's a little bit faster. So sometimes what I like to do is I like to do about 3 to 4 generations. So I could do light, maybe I'll put, we'll do pink, light green, cream, blank. I'll just put blank background for this one just to see how this would look. Oh, that was not what I wanted. Maybe I can go back. Nope. So if you ever do that, just so you know, there is the AI gallery. If we look at my creations, I can pull it back up. So if you're ever like, oh, I just deleted what I just created, like myself, you can always pull it back up. So what I'm going to do for this is I am going to remove the background on this one and hopefully it will remove everything besides, I mean, it still has the cream border, which is not terrible. I mean, that looks kind of nice. This one looks gorgeous too. Okay. I am confused now on what to do. So I'm going to flatten this one. I actually like this one a little bit more because as you can see, like this cream border, the threading is going to look kind of funny on print, in my opinion, or it's just not going to print as nicely. So I would like a clean border like we have on this one. So what I just did is I flattened the image, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste that artboard. I'll delete this here. I'm also going to do that light pink effect, or you know what? I'm going to put light sage. I feel like sage is a really pretty color too. So we'll just do a light sage, a few examples, because I think it's fun to look at the examples, to be quite honest. So now we have ICU here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that background one, and I'm going to move this forward. So now we have ICU. I'm going to take that nurse that I had here, and then I'm going to paste that here. And then, so now we have the design pretty much done, which is really nice. And that pink is so cute too. I really like these colors. So if this was my shop, what I would do is I would probably either one, create a photo card that has the different colors, or two, I would most likely do different listings for the different colors. But I really like what it did with this one. So this is gorgeous. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the color picker, and I want a darker color. Oop, that's not what I wanted. That's actually not what I wanted. I wanted to change the text color here. So I'm going to do this. We're going to do the darker color because I do like the monochrome look of blending the colors together. So now we have this really, really gorgeous looking design. So what I want to do, so the thing is, if we were to upload this as such, I would not make this my final because we still have that white border effect. What I like to do is create that cutout effect at times. We could also, we could make it look like stitching the nurse. That's, I'm just going to do the cutout effect here. So the way that I do the cutout effect is typically I will start with all of it being white. I download, so I will either quick export as a PNG, or yeah, I'll quick export this as a PNG. So basically when I export this, and it's not loading my export. Okay. So when I export this, it's going to be all white on the background. It's not transparent. The reason why I am doing that is because then we can remove background. So, oop, I did that twice. I'm going to delete this one. So now what I will do is I'm going to copy and duplicate this artboard a third time or fourth time. Fourth time's a charm. So where did I think I accidentally booped out that, that design I just uploaded. So we're going to bring it back in. It's taking a second. It's taking its time. Okay. So now what I'm going to show here is I'm going to make the artboard behind being black just to show you all this, because this is how I achieve that cutout effect with the nurse and that border that we made. So now we have the cutout effect perfectly done. So if, let's say, we wanted to take this to multiple product types, so to a t-shirt, sweatshirt, what have you, we won't have that issue of transparency because we're going to have this now done for us. So what I'm going to do is I am going to download this artboard. So this is artboard 4. And then I'm going to download as a SVG here. I will say the struggle of SVG at this pixel mount is like, it's like such a huge, it's really a huge file when I do that. So I just took it down a little bit. So now when we go to our insulated mug, and this is what's nice about this design too, is we can take it to a tote bag. So if we did want to do a tote bag, we can also do that. So if I wanted to do ICU nurse, I like to, so there's this line bisecting this right side this is a line I try to hit when I'm creating a design. Now, talking about our left and right-handed customers, we may want to just duplicate this. And then for this, we're basically going to just line this up and do it midway as well here. So it's bisecting that middle line again. I will say the only struggle is when we get a mock-up image, because we're going to create our own mock-up images today. And sometimes when those mock-up images come out, I have to like not match up both sides at first because it doesn't look as nice. But so I'm going to look at the mock-ups first and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to preview. I'm going to grab the mock-up image, just this white one. And honestly, I feel like seeing this, I want to make it larger because I feel like that's still not like. So I'm going to delete this one just because if we have, oops, that was the wrong one I deleted. This is, if you all ever wonder what my editor goes through, this is essentially it. My editor is the best because he deals with me doing this. So one thing we could do as well is we could put like a stethoscope or something on like the other side that's like quilted too if we wanted to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this in the same size. So I'm going to nudge it as much as I can because the center lines are a little bit different on the two sides since it is left and right-handed specific. So what I will do here is, oh my gosh, this design looks so gorgeous. I'm very obsessed with this design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this template. So Kittle just released a bunch of Etsy mug templates and they actually release like tons of templates. Like it's not even just Etsy. They have these mug templates, they have shirt templates, they have digital print templates. If you haven't seen these already, this is like, they are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. I think for this example, I rather have something more like boho, kind of like this one. So I'm going to use this design. And of course, why am I not logged in on this? We're going to I am going to log in on my other page. I'm logged in. I don't know why is it doing that? Okay. So anyways, thoughts with Heather as she's live here today. I think I just voice what's in my brain of brains. I don't know if anyone else does that while they're alone designing, but I definitely do. So with the mug templates, one thing to note is you can make a video template like this through the templates that Kittle has already inherently in its, basically in its features. So if I want to make like a video template, which I don't know if I spoke about that earlier today. I don't have my product in scene. That is my problem right now. I'm going to have to create my product in scene first and then we will go from there. So I am action variation. I don't think, yeah, I think out of their templates, I see the video one. So I'll go back to this video one in a moment. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to upload that mug to this board and we're going to create our mock-ups here first. So I do have to create another artboard for this. So I'm going to delete the design there and then we are going to expand this. And then what I will do is I'm going to remix or actually, let me do, sorry, I'm going to select the artboard here. I'm going to do AI image artboard. I'll put, make this mug into a 4K mock-up image of the mug sitting on a light wood counter, bright, warm light streaming in. I'll just put this for now, and then I'm going to enhance the prompt because you all probably know at this stage I'm bad at prompting. Let's just say that. Not good at the prompting. I see the crafting wheel said, here's another issue I have with moving across the board. It gets so small that I cannot move around. So I would say one, there is these, like, you can fit to content. So this area here is you can fit to content, fit to artboard, fit to selection. So if you like select a bunch, you can fit it. For the reason why I scroll so quick might just be to note this. I use a Mac and I have this trackpad, which honestly makes it really easy for me, like navigating on here. And I know not everyone has a Mac, but if you do have a Mac, highly recommend, like, the trackpads are so nice. But I know with, like, if you're having issues with just like scrolling and like what I'm doing here, this area and this board is going to be a lot more helpful. I think also with the commands, I want to say, yeah, it's plus, but I think that still affects the Kettle artboard though, or your whole vision. So I don't really have the keys personally, just because I am on a Mac, that it's a little bit different for me, I guess. What I'll do, I'm going to use Nano Banana too and see what that creates here. So for my other mock-up, I might do create a mock-up image. I'll put lifestyle mock-up image. So I will do this one. So sometimes the problem with AI, which we can see here, it added a steel like area to it. So I would regenerate that one. And then for this, I'm going to remix this image. So we're going to remix. Oop, I got 4 image boards out of that, which is totally fine. So if anyone hasn't used the remix feature in Kittle too, you can remix through the Nano Banana to 4K, and you can select the aspect ratio, you can select the amount of images, and then you can go from there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a image that doesn't have that steel frame. I will say, I think did the other insulated cup have that steel frame? I'm very curious why it keeps doing that. Oh, yeah, this one has the steel frame. So I guess at least if you are using Polar Camel, but the steel frame is it's still not. Anyways, that's just me speaking my thoughts out loud. I'll put I can remix this too, like if I wanted to flatten, but the mug handle is still really weird on that one. So we'll see how the 2K or the Nano Banana 2 does this. And oh, that looks so much better. Okay. This is probably more of the one. The other issue is this. Sometimes it works off of the perspective of the mug, because if you see the handle on this white background is kind of like perspective view. I don't know, like, or maybe it just looks like that. Maybe it is angled. I honestly haven't ordered a sample of this one. I should at this stage, because I should do a sample video soon, to be quite honest with you all. But this one's gorgeous. I really love this one. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna export this one and keep moving here, because I know we're already after the time on my time. Um, so what I'm gonna do now is you can actually create these into videos. So there are templates. Now, what I will note is, since we're doing an insulated coffee tumbler mug, the lid is the problem, because we'd have to have an AI person take off the lid. So if we wanted to do a video mock-up, what I would recommend here is, I'm going to remix this and I'm going to put take off lid on top and set to side. So I'm just going to do a remix, and hopefully it does it correctly and it doesn't look strange. But even on this one, like, we could have just taken this one and saved this, because this one has the lid off at least. So I could remix this one, and oh my gosh, all of my tabs that are open, I keep getting so distracted. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take this prompt here. And so if we want to make sure that the lid looks correct too, instead of having AI recreate it, I'm going to do like let's see, I'll do a remix of this. And basically what I'm going to do is, I'm just remixing this one. So these two are going to be the remixes there. And I know this looks like chaos right now, so bear with me on. So as we're waiting for the AI, oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you, AI, for doing that. So one thing to note, when we are using AI, I want to be very, very, like, kind of critical of what the AI spits out, because one, there is now a steel ring around this one, and that happens. AI does make mistakes, right? This one is the one I would use, because the other one, obviously, it has a black ring around this, and I don't believe it has a black ring, but I could be wrong. In this image, yeah, this has like a clear ring around the plastic border. So this is the one I would use because of that. Oh, Jesus. I will do. Okay. So now that we have that, I'm pretty happy. This one is just like a rework of this. So we'll see how this last one comes out, because I'm not really happy. Like, sometimes AI does things like this, and I'm just like, why do you choose to do that, AI? But that's okay. And oh my gosh, that croissant. Oh, I love croissants. I'm in a croissant moment of my life, if anyone else is. I like this one, so we might try these two. The only thing is, okay, this lid is way smaller than this, so never mind, never mind. So what we could do is, we could ask AI to just remove it, or we can erase it with the erase and fill here. So I'm just gonna, like, oh geez, that circle was terrible. That circle was not the best circle in my life I could have drawn. But we're gonna erase this. And then hopefully AI will be a good friend. And yeah, I mean, if you didn't know that I erased that, I think that would have been fine. So this is good. This is all good. Good, fine, and dandy. So now what I'm going to do is I want to make these into videos. So I'm going to use these two and we're going to create videos. So what's really nice with Kittl is this new video mockup you can use as your video mockups on Etsy. And then also you can create these into uh, social media uses, right? So one thing to note is if you want to do social media usage for these, so you would have to do like the 9 by 16. So I'll put change orientation to 9 by 16 and we'll see. We'll see what it does. I could have just generated like that, but for this, I'm going to do a video mockup. So if I click generate video, there's two ways you can do it. So if you have an artboard, like if we took an artboard and we started with an artboard, then I'm going to delete this. Did I not? I didn't select artboard. If you ever wonder if YouTubers make mistakes in their tutorials, the answer is yes, and always. No one is perfect, okay? I feel like with the Hannah Montana revival, I don't know if anyone watched that on, gosh, was it Hulu that did it? I don't know. It it just was beautiful. I love Hannah Montana. If anyone knows, you know. But I'm gonna add a video AI board, and the only thing is, I don't want a. Okay, I'm going to do for a AI video artboard. So what I want is a 1 by 1. So you do want to match the ratio. That's why I have these coming out as 9 by 16 to match the ratio, because if you don't, then it will create a black border like below and above. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put create a video of coffee pouring in and steam rising from mug. So we can just do like a very simple prompt. And I'm just going to generate from there this one. And then, ooh, this is nice. These are nice. I would probably not do this one because nurses' kitchen remedies, healing foods, healing foods. You know, that is surprisingly that's all written correctly. Sometimes AI has a habit of like creating random words. So I like that. Anyways, I'm going to generate a video from this one. I like this one more than the other. So I'll put create a video of coffee pouring into mug and steam rising. So I will say I don't like hands right now in my images. I don't know about anyone else, but the hands like do things that I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, hand. And oop, I just did a 16 by 9 ratio. Let's fix that. So what I'll do here is I'll do the 9 by 16 ratio, correct myself. And so I have two that are going to be created here. It does take a little bit for creation, so I'm going to go over, and while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to finish this in Printify and push it to my Etsy shop. I will just select just one for now. So I'm going to do ICU nurse mug, insulated coffee mug. I'll put I'm gonna put maybe intensive care unit RN insulated coffee mug, 10 ounce. I know it's kind of a little bit extra, but I find that some people put RN, some people put nurse, some people put registered nurse. So I like to kind of mix it up in that way. For tags, I don't really like the tags necessarily. I think Printify does a pretty good job in generating tags, but it's still not the long tail keyword tags that I would like. Like office doesn't make sense for a nurse unless they are like a nurse manager, perhaps, but still, it just doesn't make sense. Mom coffee mug doesn't really apply. Travel mug, it is like maybe traveling nurse, so that could perhaps qualify, but coffee tumbler I think is fine. Insulated mug. So we have mug repeated a few times. We don't really need it repeated that much. So I'm going to delete some of these. Gifts for her is great. Blue patchwork I like. Coffee tumbler is good. Insulated mug is good. What I will do here is I'm going to add in some specific micro niche tags. So I'll put intensive care unit. I'll put ICU. Let's see if I can fit registered. I bet it's not going to fit. Oh wait, it fit? Okay, I'm good with that. So I'll put there's different types of ICU nurses, so some other micro niches we could hit because even if they might be neonatal ICU nurse, medical intensive care unit, MICU, there is I feel like there's pediatric ICU. There's a lot of different ICUs. So I like to kind of do a NICU, a MICU, and a PICU just to kind of have that in and have all of the acronyms for nursing. I think that's really good for micro niches because a lot of the times if nurses are shopping for themselves, they might not find that anywhere. So I'll put nurse appreciation to hit that. Let me see if I can put in date. Nope. We'll do nurse appreciation. I'm going to put nurse grad gift. I'm going to put graduation student because student nurse. Typically, I don't write like a full, like I don't put nurse, nurse, nurse because repeated tags aren't necessary because Etsy has a mix and match system. So if you have RN grad gift, so we have RN here, grad gift, it might reorder your tags and put RN grad gift. So if someone puts in a search, I'm looking for a registered nurse grad gift, they might get our listing still, even though we don't have that in a direct order or exact order, if that makes sense. So I do want registered, so I'll put registered and then I'm going to put retiree because again, we're hitting that micro niche of retirees. I'll put if it fits retired. Nope. Retired. Nope, nope, nope. That did not. Retiree. I'll put maybe CR it. We'll just keep it at that. So if we would like to continue with the micro niche tags, so gift for her, we have gift already. Let's see. I feel like my brain is pooping out since I've been live for quite some time now. I'm trying to, I know 10 ounce we could put, I might put 10 ounce and then let's see. It is in a way shatterproof because it's not ceramic. So we could put shatterproof for this. I think that's a good one for describing this mug. So travel. Yes, travel we can put because also there's travel nurses. So I'll put travel nursing. And I'm trying to think of like one more, maybe CRNA. I feel like CRNAs are again a micro niche. That's nurse anesthetist. And again, very specific. So I'm gonna we'll put white, and then we'll put secondary color as blue. So Printify did have an update where you can put in all of the attributes now too, which I really really love. So for this, I'll put probably graduation. I think graduation. I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with retirement. You can do either or for this one. For holidays, this doesn't really qualify for specific holidays, so I won't put that in. For the type of style, I'm going to see. I feel like with patchwork, I honestly don't know what this would qualify as, because I guess I'm going to do phrase and saying because it really, that's what it is. So I am going to select economy for this. We will have to do the under $5. I think that under $5 shipping after we push this through, or we could do free shipping on this. But the problem is we would have to have the retail price pretty darn high for that. So one thing to note is if you don't have Printify Premium, $29.99 is going to be a very low spot for profit. So what I would recommend if you don't have Printify Premium and you don't get that discount on production fees, $34.99 is a good retail price so that you're seeing a nice healthy profit of over 25% profit margin. You can go as high as $39.99, but that's assuming that maybe you have a flash sale event happening quite often or frequently. I would recommend maybe closer to $39.99 if you do not have Printify Premium. If you do have Printify Premium, then I would drop it lower to $34.99 before a sale or $29.99 because again, it's about $5 difference. So I'm going to hide this in store. I'm going to publish it and then I'm going to go to Etsy and we're going to finish this all together on Etsy. So this is, let's see what the video. That's kind of nice. I will say I don't really have coffee that steams as much, but it's okay. That is a really fancy coffee handle and that almost spilled over. I might not use those necessarily, but I do like this one. We're going to go with this one. I'm going to download this here and we're going to take it to Etsy. Me just judging those images for a moment. Please forgive me. So, what I will also do, I'm going to add these in here. So, I will do all of the downloads that we just had. I'm going to delete these. So if you did want to show like that this is double-sided, you can always download. So we could take these images and we could do like a right, left, and a right, left, and front one. So just to show people like, oh, like this double-sided. This is double-sided. I can't speak today. So I just uploaded all of the images that we were kind of just looking at. What I would maybe do, I like this one as the main, perhaps. I feel like the resolution on this is not good though. That's the only problem I have. I might do this one. We'll do this one. Okay. So I like to zoom in quite a bit. One of the reasons why is because we're trying to stop the scroll for the customer. I will say that the resolution I did not download that well here. So I'm going to do JPG. We're going to export and then let's see. Was that the one I just downloaded? Oh my goodness. I just downloaded 49 megabytes. Okay, so this is definitely good quality. I don't know why it's kind of showing a little bit splotchy on Etsy, but that was 15 megabytes on accident there. I did not mean to download that much. So anyways, I'm going to show, just to finish this off, how to show all sides. So if we wanted to do, I'm going to take this artboard here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload all of those ones I just downloaded. So we'll do this one, we'll do this one. And oh my gosh, those are so tiny. Okay. And they're really low quality. The struggle is real today. It's always real though, you know? So let me go back. So we're going to download this again. I'm going to just copy and paste. I know that's like kind of a hack too, that we can do here. So we're just going to copy and paste. I'm right clicking and copying. I'm not sure if that shows up on YouTube because I'm in the screen when I'm typically doing these. So, and it doesn't show sometimes the like right clicking I do. So I'm just copying and pasting those in. So what I will do here is I'm going to do this. I'm going to select all. I'm going to remove background on all of these just so we can give like our customers an idea of how this looks and that it's double-sided too, just in case like the customer, you know, they get it in person and they're not happy about it too. We don't want that. So I'm going to make the background a white. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to use AI. We're going to do AI image board here. And then I'm going to put make a lifestyle mock-up image of these mugs on display on a white marble countertop in a brightly lit kitchen. So I'm just going to do this and then I'm going to do pro because it's pretty fast and I just want to see kind of in a faster way how it would come out. Maybe I will also do Nano Banana 2. We'll just get a few from Nano Banana 2 as well here. So I see the crafting wheel you were asking about, why Kling or the, I think it's VHO, I want to say, that is the difference. I know Kling, so Kling is the most updated version with Kittle. And when I just did a call with Drew from Kittle, who is a host of the channel on their end. And he was telling me that Kling is like the newest updated version. So that's one of the reasons why I used it today. VHO is if you're like looking for fast video generation. I personally, some of these, like if you're using people, you may want to go for the more expensive models, I guess. Like because you have to pay per credits for every version of this. So, I mean, some of these are kind of similar, but if you're just looking for like a perspective shift, Sea Dance is pretty good for just like camera angles and changing if you don't have like coffee pouring or something. Um, but Kling is the most updated that I've recently heard from Kittle. So that's one of the reasons why I chose it today, just because the video editing is still, I feel like it's not in beta, but it's still getting upgraded and updated from what I've heard. Um, oh, I did not select this image when I created these. So, learning lesson to anyone, if you're looking for if you're doing what I'm doing alongside me, don't do what I just did, because I should have selected the artboard. So now that we have this, I'm going to go. We're going to finish out our listing here. So I'm going to make this the second image just to show that this is like a double-sided mug. I think that's helpful for anyone who's going on this and they're looking to buy this item. So I'm going to publish from here, and that's pretty much it. That's the kind of full tutorial on how to go from design with AI, having it edit a design that you created. So we went from our plain text to a really cute design that is the ICU nurse mug, and it's going with that patchwork trend that we're seeing on Etsy. I really am impressed on how this came out. I will say, looking at this now, this spoon is just like, we're gonna have to edit that. I like how the spoon just disappears under, but the reflection is good though. So just critiquing at the end, I also like, I think when I'm live, I'm like trying to kind of execute a little bit faster and things like that. I definitely don't fully see at times. So if we wanted to edit that, I'm just going to show quickly kind of how you can edit that. But so if you have like a weird thing like that, like a spoon show up, what we can do is we can just remix the image, and I'll just say keep everything the same and remove spoon. So I'm just going to have it. Oop, that is not what I wanted. Again, if I weren't trying to go quick, I would not be making silly mistakes like we are all seeing today. I'm going to delete these because these are not helpful anymore. So the other thing to note is if you are looking to use the Etsy mug mockups, what's kind of nice is if I were to like drag and drop a image in. So let's say I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna drop this into Kittle's artboard that they have here. So if I wanted to do this weird spoon one, which again, I'm just showing for the sake of this video, and I could delete, like we could just zoom in a lot and kind of zoom out that spoon, goodbye spoon, that decided to show up really weird. So if I wanted to do this, then I could select all of these artboards. So I'm gonna just hold shift and we are going to, I don't think the model is out yet for regeneration actually on these, because in the past I've been able to regenerate by just selecting all. So what I might do, there used to be a way to regenerate these. It doesn't look like I'm able to in this. You know what? Maybe I have to delete that first. I feel like I've done this before and I have had to delete before, but maybe I'm on the wrong board. I tested this the other day and I was able to just regenerate all, but now it's not doing that. Yeah, I'm not sure why this one's regenerated. So let me try this board here. I'm going to try this instead, and I'm going to regenerate here. And then after that regenerates, I believe I can create these videos. When I was testing it the other day, and it could be in an update right now, but I was able to regenerate like all at once rather than like kind of, there's usually a regenerate button that shows up. So I think maybe I am doing this during a time that this could be not a feature right now. So yeah, usually it shows up regenerate on the actual. So anyways, I digress. We will continue. So now we have the spoon removed. So if I want to generate a video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the cling. I'm going to do 1-to-1 ratio, and then we're just going to generate this video. I'm going to fix that this listing that the spoon is just kind of weird on. And then we will be good to go, guys, on this. And then I'm going to answer anyone's questions at the end here. We'll have a little bit of a Q&A session at the very end to talk about anything that you all want to talk about. I very much appreciate anyone who stayed with me this entire time. I hope it was helpful and good to see, hopefully, how to like fix things if things kind of go awry with the AI tools. I will also note while I'm kind of here live that, again, for anyone who might be joining like midway or watching, skipping around the video and you get to this part, I just want to say it again because AI, it is a great resource. I will say that there are real photo mockups that you can use as well on Etsy that you can purchase. I like AI. I like using it in these case scenarios where maybe I can't find a image or a real photo to use, but I would always just double check that it looks real, it looks accurate to how it's going to print in person. Um, oh, this one's nicer. I actually like this one a lot better than the other one because the other one had like a weird bubbly steam. I don't know if that made anyone else feel strange about that video, but I'm gonna upload this and then we have fixed our weird spoon problem and I think we are good to go. I think this one, the lid, well, it's kind of perspective lid, but I like that croissant. Anyways, I hope this didn't make anyone hungry while I'm here. But this is our final listing. Thank you all for being here and going with me along this journey to create this listing. If you haven't already, also hit that subscribe button. I am very close to hitting 151K on YouTube. So thank you to anyone who has subscribed. Also, we will link the Microniche bundle that I was talking about earlier down below, or Steve will also post that in the chat if you're interested. I do have the print on demand architect workshop starting in April. So if you want to get on that wait list, check out that link too. Outside of that, I'm going to host a Q&A and we will go over any questions you have to stay over a little bit here. And then we will end our call. So I will I'm going to stop the sharing and I will change my layout. Okay, so I will go to YouTube and pull up the chat because my streaming service has been strange today. So thank you all for going through this and being patient with me. So I see Comfort with Love Gifts asks, is it better to have a motion video like you were doing today, or is it a static image video okay to use as well? So both are fine to use. What I would recommend is if you do have a static image video, I would show the product in a different perspective if it's static as your first static image, because um, it's if we think about the customer on scroll on Etsy, they're going to scroll over your thumbnail image and then usually it will show that video, and that is a chance to convert a customer to show them, oh, like there's other colors, or maybe there's like this how it looks in a different lighting or photo. So I would just make sure that that second static photo video has that. And there's ways you can create that on like on Kittl or other like softwares where you can kind of like slow pan. But that's my recommendation there, is maybe to do like a slide it, like if you're doing a slideshow or like slow pan Zoom, you can do that as well. Canva as well, like that has a lot of those slow pan video creation tools and templates. So Marco asks, is there Kittl like Canva with free and paid version? So Kittl does have a free version. It's not as, I don't think it's print on demand friendly, or if it is, I believe you have to note that you created a design with Kittl. I'm almost positive that's the terms and conditions for that. I believe Canva has similar though. So just one thing to note. I personally have switched to Kittl though from Canva because it has all the artboards, which Canva does have all the artboards in one, but with Kittl you have like all of the AI systems and tools inherently in it, and then also you can create like a multi-board. I'm not sure if anyone has watched my 100 design video, but I've been making a lot of crazy design AI tutorials lately. And given I still create my own designs, but I do like that you can kind of play around with AI now to go from one design style that you start with and have AI recreate it. And that's what I showed today with the patchwork trend, that we can infuse the patchwork, so to speak. I did a mug video recently, and I don't know if I have, let me see if I still have it, because I'll share it with you all here on how I did that. And it's a YouTube video I'm posting soon here. So here we go. So if you're looking to, I'll just share my screen. So, okay. So this is my board where I created the design. So here's the thing with like AI is, one, the main problem that we have as designers right now is if you create with AI completely, it first of all isn't fully your intellectual property, and there's not full, like we're still in the area of terms and conditions changing, if that makes sense. So it's kind of a scary realm to be in a way, but also one thing that we can do to take back our own IP as designers and creators and still have design elements in our own process is you can start with an artboard like I did. This is a design I made. I added all of these like flowers and whatnot and elements. And then I remixed this design. And as you can see, it's a stained glass design. It's a design I made initially, and I changed it into a stained glass effect with AI. So instead of just using AI to create graphics and the design as a whole, you can just transform your designs you already have that are doing really well on Etsy into different styles. And I think that's like a big thing that we can do as designers going forward on Etsy. I did this as like a mug design, but this is like one example of going from my initial design. This is initial design. I had it create a pastel version, a regular kind of more like primary color version, another pastel with like a opal pearlescent type of look. And again, this was just another try at that. But just to show how you can use AI without feeling kind of like you have no IP in it or intellectual property, so to speak. I think that right now we're in a time of like some people. I know for me, like I was resistant to AI at first because I was like, I am a designer. These are my designs. And I feel like AI takes away from my creativity, but really we can use it to be even more creative, which is really fun, that I've been having a fun time with, at least. In if I'm doing like things like this and creating like a wraparound mug design, like this is really fun and cool to do right now. So, just to give an example of why I'm using Kittl right now too, is because the AI capabilities and being able to have your own intellectual property still, or kind of be the designer still and not rely solely on AI to create the full design, because also prompts are just like anyone can create a similar prompt, and given all the outputs are going to be slightly different. But with this, you can kind of design inherently in Kittl and then go to your own style. So I could do like patchwork quilt design on this again, right? Like we can use those design styles. And that's what I really like in scaling this type of design. So that's kind of my little pedestal I'm going to stand on for just recommending Kittl, because I have seen like I've been using Kittl for like the past 2.5, going on 3 years now, and they have just made strides. It's literally insane, and they are very print on demand friendly. Like from just being able to talk with some of the company and the people who are part of the company, like they are very, very design first, graphic designer first type of business. And I also like they focus on print on demand too. And even digital, like I know they're going to slowly get into digital in digital creation, or digital product creation tools. So, anywho's, that's just me rambling for too long on that. So I am going to see what other questions. Tony, for the Microniche class, it is at the beginning of this video. So if you like scroll back, you can totally rewatch this. This will be up on YouTube for probably the next few days. What we have been doing is I have been taking these live calls and I actually put them on unlisted, and we make this into the real YouTube video that we post in like a few weeks. So if anyone is like, where did the video go? That is where it went. It's going into the future videos in our uploads. But I like doing these live because I get to talk with you all and show you the process fully. And at least a lot of you have said like you really enjoy being able to design with me and create listings together. And I plan to continue to do these. So thank you, Shannon. And I'm sending, oh, thank you. Thanks for the kind words about the videos. So I see Jane asked, do you consider this patchwork mug print on demand? So this is print on demand. I used Etsy, or I used Printify, which is the print on demand software, and then I uploaded my design onto that. Um, I see Cynthia asked, when you place your watermark on top of the image, do you have it at 50% opacity Chat GPT suggested me as low as 10 to 15%. So I actually do closer to like 10%. So that is pretty much correct on that frontier. Is I would recommend doing like a lower transparency. One of the reasons why is because like when you're doing the opacity or transparency, I feel like I always go in between on saying those words, but I'm going to share my screen. I should just keep sharing because I keep wanting to show examples. So for like when we're talking watermarks, if anyone is new to watermarks and you might be like, what the heck is a watermark? Watermarks are essentially overlaying your logo. So let's say this is my logo and I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that no one just steals my design and my listing on Etsy, because this is what's happened to me and many other sellers is people just go and they screenshot your Etsy photo cards and they try to sell as their own, and they will take your design, like screenshot the design, remove background like we did today, right? And they will put that in their own print on demand business and try to just like copy the entire your entire business. That has happened to me. That's one of the reasons why I don't share my real Etsy shop anymore. And that happens to a lot of sellers, unfortunately. So a way to protect your business is by doing a watermark, which is essentially what I just did. And you can barely see it. I would say, I mean, I guess right now I'm at like 5%. What I typically recommend is a black watermark and a white watermark. One of the reasons why is because sometimes a someone who is trying to steal a design will do they might see the first one and they might try to remove it themselves. So what I like to do is sometimes they might catch the white or the black one, but they won't catch like the one of them they won't catch, right? I do like it to be kind of like I've had sellers who literally will make like a micro and just put it like right like over. Like I've had sellers do this and it's like the funniest thing to me when I work with those sellers. I'm just like, you are hilarious and that is genius. But some people do that, like they're like a very tiny, or you could do like something like this. I would take it down a lot. So watermarking, what this does, why you might be wondering, why is this so low transparency that you can barely see it? One thing to note is, let's say they steal your photo. You can take that photo. So if you find that listing on Etsy and Etsy's like, hey, we can't tell who posted their listing first, or how do we know? I mean, they can tell, they can see who posted the listing first, of course, on their back end. But if you ever, like, worst case scenario, you had to go to court on this or you had to do something, what you can do is, if you have a watermark like this that you can barely see, and maybe you can't, maybe it's hard to prove, whatever, you can adjust your settings. So, like brightness, we can adjust contrast, and then that appears. So, that's essentially what we would be doing. I mean, it's not this simple, it would probably appear a little bit different, but that is essentially why you don't have to have it like in your face. So if I go all the way bright, we're going to see the black one a little bit more. So again, this is just ways to kind of show that you can reclaim a watermark by doing that. Honestly, you could probably, so I'm actually going way under 10%, by the way. I would say 3 or 4%. I kind of want it to blend into the background, but like I don't want it to take away from the actual design, because also customers might be like, I mean, most customers can't even tell like if it's this low. Like maybe I can make it a little bit smaller, but we kind of want that to go over the design. I've seen some sellers who just put it right over the design like I have here, which is not a bad thing. Like this isn't terrible to do, but just as a idea, like there's hundreds of ways you can do a watermark, and you can have multiple. Like you don't have to. You could do Like we could put one at the top here and kind of make it a little bit crazy, but that's just an example of watermarking and what you can kind of do with that. So outside of that, I I think we are going to end here. I see one question I'm going to answer as well before we end here. Why would you do different listings for different colors? So, one of the reasons why I like to do different listings with different colors is because I like to A and B split test my listings and the market to see what color performs the best. So, typically what I do is I'll do like for the ICU example, I will do a blue version, like I was showing in the beginning, a pink version, a sage green version, and a blue version. The reason why I like to test all three variants is to see what color performs the best. So I'll create three different listings. Now, you can do this all in one listing. However, what I found is like it's the main thumbnail that really drives up conversion and click rate on my listings. So I like to try to do all. Now, what you can do is a pro move. This is a little secret. Not really secret, but like you've probably heard it before. You can put all three colors in one listing and just duplicate the listing 3 times and change the main mockup photo to show the different colors. And then when someone clicks into the listing, they can select, okay, I see that there's a pink, a blue, and a sage green. And then they select the color in the drop down of the variants. So that is kind of a pro move if you wanted to do that, or you could just sell them individually. You don't like it's kind of just testing the market to see what colors work and what is highest click rate at times. And a faster way, Etsy doesn't, as far as I know, give you click rate, which is a bummer about the statistics. I'm kind of thinking now, like I'm trying to remember if they, I don't think, nope. Yeah, because I've always wanted that as a statistic. They give you click rate if you run ads, but not like organic necessarily. And click rate is essentially what is a good indicator for us as sellers to know, okay, the green is really selling or the blue is getting high clicks and maybe you're having people adding to cart or converting. And that might be an indicator of, okay, this is the winner, right? Typically when you're selling on like Shopify with Facebook ads, that's what you're going to be looking at is one, impressions, click through rate, and then conversions on those listings. And that's essentially what we're doing in Etsy too. And a way to like expedite your results and statistics is ads, because then you can bring in that data for, okay, I have a high click rate on this one. This is doing well. This one's not. Now I kind of know which one to run ads on in comparison of the three. So that is like a pro move again. If you wanted to run ads right away on the same 3 colors and just watch those for maybe like 30 days to see which one performs the best, and then keep the ads on the one that is selling, hopefully. And if not, none of them are selling, then probably turn off the ads if it's just spending, getting clicks and not getting sales, because click rate doesn't always equal conversions on Etsy. And that's kind of just the very more like in depth of trying to see what sells and what doesn't. So I hope that helps. And outside of that, I think we are going to end here. I want to say thank you all so very much for joining me live today. I hope that you really enjoy these types of live build sessions. Please let me know in the comments if you want more of these. I have been doing these about monthly. If you're not a part of our email list, highly recommend joining, because then we are able to email when we do go live. Typically, I schedule it on YouTube, but we've had issues, of course, with the streams. Every time I go to stream, I've been struggling. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. I have to, it's my user error. I know it's probably my user error, but I have to figure out how to do that correctly in the future. As far as our email list, I have a, let me see if I can pull it up here. I've had a email list in the past for like a free guide that you can just join. I'm going to share my tech niche guide that I've had in the past. So if you want to get on our email list, or if you unsubscribed and you want to resubscribe, I know some people have asked to get back on our email list. You do have to fill out a form again if you do want to get back on there to get reminders of these calls. Besides that, thank you all so much for joining me today. And I hope this helps you to get more sales on Etsy and create products that are actually going to sell on Etsy. I'm wishing everyone a wonderful April. And I will see you all. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it to other people or friends you know in the print on demand and Etsy space. I will see you all in my upcoming videos here.